gentlemen, welcome into the One Dad, Seven Lives podcast, and I thank you again for joining me today. And today, what I want to talk about is actually something that is kind of in the media quite a lot at the moment, and is something that people are talking about, and that is Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Now, I was sitting with Mrs. Funk today, and we're watching the TV, um, and I'm flicking through YouTube, and different things are going on, and we see that Amber Heard has yet another episode of something else, talking about her interview and what happened after the trial and how she reacted and how she felt. So this is the third thing that she's had, and I don't want to disparage anyone from coming forward or being upfront about what they suffered, but Amber Heard was found to not be believable. The jury decided that she defamed him in saying what she said, and saying that he abused her and she was, a public figure of domestic violence. The jury said that he was defamed, which means that they did not believe that she was abused. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't often see people who have found to be abusers on TV talking about the people that they abused as if they're the bad guys. And I may be wrong, please correct me if I am, but I don't remember seeing Harvey Weinstein having an interview on daytime TV, or Chris Brown having an interview on daytime TV. And I think it's completely and utterly ridiculous that we are given a platform to someone like her, even though she has been found to have been lying, and the evidence points to that as well. But let's not talk about the evidence, let's just talk about her feelings and the fact that she felt like she was mistreated, even though the jury came out and said what they said. The judge made sure that it was as fair as humanly possible, and yet we're supposed to sit here listening to Amber Heard telling us that she is a free speech advocate, but she doesn't want you to talk about the fact that she was the abuser. You can have free speech as long as it's the speech that she wants you to have, as long as it's the talking points that she wants you to speak on. Now, Mrs. Funk and I both watched the trial. I watched it from the very, very beginning, and she started, I think it was roughly around about Johnny Depp's testimony was when she started watching it, and we both came to the same opinions, was that she was completely non-credible. She had no credibility at all when it came to what she was saying, and I don't care what anyone says, no one, no one at all can tell me that someone who has been accused of abuse, especially to the degree that she claimed Johnny Depp committed upon her, can then come out and say, I still want him in my life. I still love him. She says that she loves Johnny Depp and she wants Johnny Depp to be in her life. But this guy tormented her for the entirety of the relationship. The abuse that she suffered at his hands was so bad that she feared for her life. But she said she still loves him and still wants him to be in her life. But Johnny Depp's basically run away. He's came and hid in the UK and decided that fuck that noise, I don't want nothing to do with her, leave me the fuck alone, that's it, I'm done. And I honestly don't think that there's anyone who can look at this relationship and that situation and say that he was the abuser. You may be able to say that they had arguments, fair enough. You may be able to say that the things that he said were over the top. I disagree, but that's all opinion. I don't think that what he said to her in any way was over the top, especially given what he suffered at her hands. And I think that it was perfectly reasonable. And I think that even if that wasn't the case, who are you to tell someone what language they can use in the privacy of their own fucking home? I don't care. He can see whatever he wants. It's his missus and it's his house and it's his language. How are you going to sit here and tell me that Johnny Depp shouldn't say X, Y, or Z? Like, okay, cool, he used some not nice language to describe her. And? What's your point? I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me as to what you're trying to say. Like, so what, he's not allowed to say whatever he wants when he's talking to his friends? He's not allowed to say whatever he wants when he's arguing with his significant other? And I say the same for her. I don't think that some of the things that she said to him were out of line. And I definitely don't think that a lot of the things that she said were neither here nor there. Who cares if she said that, he was this, that, or the other? I don't care. What I do care about is when we've got audio tape of her admitting to abusing it. Then she gets on national television and turns around and says, I'm the victim. I am the person who was abused. But she admits wholeheartedly on audio tape to taking drugs, which she accused him of, to being abusive, which she accused him of, to smashing things, which she accused him of. And also, there are audio tapes that were not heard during the trial of her in Australia admitting, absolutely admitting, to taking drugs, doing things to the property, and not remembering that 95% of the stuff that she did. She stated that she did not remember, not in those words. She asked, "Was this me? Did I do this?" And I don't think that a person who is being abused is taking drugs and then not remembering what they did. And I may be incorrect, please do correct me if I'm wrong, but there is no way that she was not the aggressor. There is audio tape of her admitting it. And again, I come back to my initial point. Who gives a platform to a woman beater, to a rapist, to someone who commits sexual assault, to paedophiles? Who gives these people a platform? No one. And yet, because she is a woman and she is claiming free speech, she gets a platform to talk about what she wants. And this is all based round about the fact that she is in bed with the ACLU and they have their fingers in a lot of, shall we say, metaphorical pies. And if I had the capability of pulling it up, I would certainly do so. But how am I supposed to raise my son and daughters in a world where men are not allowed to speak out about violence committed against them? Men are not allowed to tell the world that violence was committed against them, because the woman can say that X was done to her and all of a sudden it doesn't matter. It was reactive violence. It was because he did something that she was violent. And even if he didn't do anything, he probably caused it anyway. Now, how am I supposed to tell my son to be a man and admit his faults, and my daughters? I've always taught them all that. But at the same time, in the same breath, explain to my kids that people aren't going to believe men when they come forward. I'd say they were domestic violence sufferers, not perpetrators, victims. How am I supposed to tell my son that it doesn't matter what happens, you are always going to be seen as the perpetrator, no matter what? How is that fair? And I don't understand how there are people out here defending this woman who self-admittedly abused this man to the point where he locked himself inside the house with the curtains drawn, living in total darkness, not wanting to go outside by the end of their relationship, but tell us that she was the abused, not the abuser. And I don't understand how people can be out here thinking that this is a-okay. Everyone's all for, you know, equal rights, but only when it suits the people that they want it to suit. When it suits them, they want equal rights. They don't care about equal rights when it affects other people. And I'm sorry, but your fight for equal rights affects me and my kids as much as it affects anyone else. And I am not going to allow my kids to be negatively impacted by the fact that you want to falsely claim certain things against certain people. No, that is not going to happen. My kids are not going to live a life whereby you get to make whatever accusations you want, and what I, as a father and a husband, have to stand by and let my son be accused of things that he didn't do, but because he's a man he just has to take it? No, absolutely not. And that will not be a world that I live in. Absolutely not. I will make sure that my kids fully understand that you should always, always be skeptical of everything. You should always be skeptical of what these people say. And you should always question the reality that they are trying to feed you. You should believe some women if they can show evidence, but you can't just take someone's word at face value. And I find it completely fucking ridiculous that you just want to stand up, throw an accusation at someone, and then Amber Heard wants to stand there and say, well, you didn't believe me because you're a bigot, and you're a this, and you're a that, and this, that, and the other. But when she's found out to be a liar, she doesn't want any of the blowback from it. And it's your fault that she's receiving that blowback. You're the bigot. You're the sexist and the homophobe, and, you know, you're this and you're that, and basically any name that they can add ist to, you are. And I don't know how someone can sit here and explain to me that the system that we are dealing with on a daily basis that deals with this sort of thing is fair and right. Because Amber Heard got to stand up there in front of the world more than once and say that he abused her. And anytime he tried to defend himself, even in articles, those people told those companies that they shouldn't be defending them. And in the article where he is trying to defend himself, they tell him and the world that they don't believe him. That it doesn't matter what he says, he is wrong and he is an abuser. And that is an utterly ridiculous situation to be in. And I genuinely do not wish it upon my worst enemy. I think it's insane that this man, for 6 years, has been dragged through the mud because he didn't bow to the demands of a vindictive, evil woman. And I'm not going to make any mental health judgments because I'm not qualified to do so, and I know how it feels. But under no circumstances should this woman have had the ability or the capability to stand up and ruin this man's life without a single shred of actual evidence. No way on God's green earth, and excuse me for using God again, I know, I'm not a religious person, but it fits the sentiment. But there is no way on earth that this woman should have had the ability or the capability to write an article in a world newspaper. Let's get that correct. In a world newspaper. Make a statement like she did. Ruin this guy's life. And then once it comes out that in fact she is the liar, she is the person who committed the frauds, she is the person who has committed the defamation, she was found to be lying during the trial. Once all of that comes out, even after she's done everything and said everything, there is no way that she should have gotten a platform from that. And she did. She has. And it's completely and utterly fucking ridiculous that I have to bring my kids up in a world where men just don't get believed. What? So, I mean, one of the arguments I saw during the trial was that he was bigger and stronger, therefore she couldn't hurt him. That's absurd. Absolutely absurd. And anyone who thinks that that is an argument, anyone at all, anyone who thinks that that is an argument to not being abused as a man by a woman, go find a woman in the middle of the street and ask her to punch you in the face, in the eye, and tell me that it didn't hurt. Tell me that it didn't hurt. If you can do that, and you can find a woman that can punch you in the eye and not hurt you, even though you're a big strong man, then I will eat my words. But that is not the case. Physical size doesn't indicate pain, and if you think that, you're a fucking idiot. Just because I am bigger than Mrs. Funk does not mean that she couldn't throw a right hook and knock me the fuck out. Doesn't mean that she could throw a right hook and she wouldn't hurt me. Don't be fucking insane. You would have to be delirious to believe that. And honestly, I think some of you are. And I think it's completely fucking ridiculous that that's even a conversation that we're having, or that we have to have, or a statement that has to be made, is, oh yes, well, she could actually have hurt. Of course she could. She's a person. Doesn't matter the size difference. And if you look at the two of them, he's not that much bigger and stronger than her. He's bulkier because he's a man, but he's not that much bigger than her. Like, what? I don't understand what you're saying. I don't understand the point that is trying to be made when we say, oh, but he's a man and he's bigger and stronger, so she couldn't have hurt him. Are you? Sorry, I'm starting to get a little bit worked up. But you must be fucking seriously mentally unstable if you believe that a woman cannot hurt a man because he is bigger than her. Seriously mentally unstable. Absolutely ridiculously unstable if you believe that that is the case. And I feel sorry for you, because when you have kids and you have a boy, I honestly hope that he never goes through anything like what we have seen be displayed, because it's gross. It's unreal. And the fact that this man had to put his life on show just so that he could prove that he was abused. And he did not abuse her. The fact that the man had to do that, and everyone still stands up here and says that, oh well, he did this, he said some mean words. I don't give a fuck. But just finally, to cap this off, people say mean things to each other all the time, and I don't understand why mean words to each other is a big thing that people are so pissed off about. People say mean things to each other all the fucking time. Who cares? Who gives a flying fuck? Just grow up. The fact that an abuser has a platform like this to do what she's done and try and make out that he was the abuser, he abused her, and she is the innocent victim, is completely ridiculous. And I think that if, when we look back at this in a couple of years, 5, 10 years time, people are going to realise that maybe we shouldn't have given her the platform that we gave her. But we take it as it comes, and we'll see how it turns out. But anyway, that's all for today. Certainly do thank you all for watching me and listening today. If you are watching or listening to me on YouTube, please do remember, like and subscribe. And if you have anything to say, certainly do please leave a comment. Any content or topics that you would like me to cover, get my opinion on, certainly please do comment and let me know. You can find me over on Twitter at twitter.com/onedadpod, and you can also find me on Spotify by searching One Dad 7 Lives. Certainly, thank you all for joining me today, and I hope you all have an awesome day. Thank you. Thank you.